Hello, I'm gonna be traveling for most of the month of August, so I'm like pre-filming a bunch of stuff so that I can still put out some videos. And for today's video, I thought it would be fun if I went over the books I'm bringing on vacation with me, which is basically just like a Kindle app tour. I'm gonna be bringing some physical books, probably. I want to leave a lot of room in my suitcase so I can buy a lot of books while I'm on vacation. So I don't know how many physical books I'm going to be bringing. So I'm mainly just going to be relying on the books that are on my Nook and Kindle app on my phone, of which I have downloaded a lot recently. So I thought it would be fun to do like a little Kindle tour, except I don't actually have a Kindle. I just have my cell phone because I'm too cheap to buy a real Kindle. So let's get into it. I figured, I don't know, just as a way to divide this in my mind, I'm first going to go over the books I have on my Nook app. I tend to use the Nook app more than the Kindle app. The Kindle app I just have the free books on. And Nook is when I actually buy the books. That's the Barnes & Noble app. So anyway, the first book that I have on my Nook app is The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. This is the second book in the Atlas 6 series. If you're unaware, the Atlas 6 series, basically, it follows these 6 people who have been chosen to join this secret society based off of their magical abilities, and they all have to compete, and only 5 of them can carry on to the next book, to the next tournament or challenge. This is the second book in the series. I really liked the first one, but not enough to like hold on to the book and not enough to buy the second one, so I just got it on this app. I have tried to read this a couple times and just the beginning has never really gripped me that much, but this is one I am looking forward to reading on vacation. I do think this is one I will read, but we'll see. As we'll see, I have a lot of different options. I'm not sure exactly which books I'm going to be reading, but we'll find out. The next book I know nothing about, and that is Because of Miss Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. This book I only have because when I was doing my video where I was reading on the Bridgerton books, I bought the ebooks and they came in like packs of 3, like 3 books in each separate ebook. So this one came with like the last 2 in the series, and this is the start of actually a new series, but it's another Regency historical romance. So I know what to expect. I just don't know like who the character is going to be. This one I'm not sure if I'm going to read because I am kind of Bridgertoned out after doing that video, but it sounds fun nonetheless. Maybe I'll read it. Maybe it's just gonna be a quick fun little read. Next I have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is the latest series of like the Shadowhunters world. I don't know much about who this book follows. I think there's something about it like this series being a retelling of like some Dickens work, or maybe that's like another series that she's coming out with, but I know that was a thing she was talking about at one point. I've really enjoyed the Shadowhunter books previously. I don't know that I'm still going to enjoy them that much because they are YA. I'm not big on YA anymore, but I just kind of got this one because I thought it'd be fun. I have the second one downloaded as well. I'm not sure what the name of that one is. And now that the third one is out, I could get that one too. I could just binge the whole series if I wanted to. I just think this would be like a fun time. After that, I have American Street by Ibi Zoboi. This book follows a young woman who is moving from Haiti to the United States when her mother gets detained by U.S. immigration, and that's all I know about it. This is another YA book, so I got this one on my Nook app like a long time ago and I just never read it, but I remember hearing good things about it at the time. It seems like it deals with a lot of interesting subject matter. I don't think I've ever read a book with like a Haitian main character either, so it would be good representation, some good diversity for me. And I've heard it's also magical realism, which I'm really, really into, so I think that would be fun. I think I'm saying everything is going to be fun, so take a shot every time I say that. The next book I have is Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. This book follows the story of a woman named Mary who is accused of killing a baby, allegedly, hence the title. Apparently, though, she didn't say much in the interviews with the detectives, and the media kind of filled in the blanks that a white baby died while in the hands of a black woman, and she's never really tried to correct the record much. But then something happens. I think she like gets out of prison, is in a home, and then she's about to have another child, and the state is starting to take her child away, and that's when like telling the truth becomes important to her. I've heard very good things about this one. I'm not sure if this is YA, and I think it is YA. So I have a lot of YA on my Nook app, which you can probably tell that I downloaded these a while ago. This book, I heard good things about it when it came out, but I haven't heard much about it ever since. So maybe it's just one of those books that's kind of gotten lost in time, but it sounds interesting enough, so I'd like to give it a shot. Then there's another YA, I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. This is the guy who wrote The Book Thief, and that is the only reason I downloaded this book. I love The Book Thief. I have no idea what this book is about. I even tried reading the Goodreads synopsis and didn't really give me many clues. It says, like, that's when the first ace arrives in the mail. That's when Ed becomes the messenger. I don't know what that means. So I think this is a book you're not supposed to know too much about before going into it. It seems kind of mysterious in that way. I have no memory of ever downloading this book. I have no memory of I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this book at all. So maybe this would be a fun one to go into just to see my thoughts since no one really talks about it. Okay, and those are all the books I have on my Nook app. So now we're going to go into the Kindle app. The books on this app are mainly just like free ones that I was finding. I did not buy any of these, so they're all really random, but a free book is a free book. First, we have In Any Lifetime by Mark Guggenheim. This book apparently follows a man who's like ready to risk it all in order to find a universe where his wife is still alive. That's all I know. It sounds interesting. I like the idea of like multiple universes and like trying to find a universe that is different than the others. I think the main character is like a physicist or something like that, so I hope it doesn't confuse me, which it probably will, just based off of the premise, but it sounded interesting enough, so I downloaded it. Then we have The Unquiet Bones by Loreth Ann White. This book is like a typical like detective murder cold case book. Essentially at the beginning of the book, like human remains are found and are thought to be connected to a cold case of this teenage girl that disappeared a long time ago, and it follows like a detective. I'm not too excited about this one because I don't like police that much. So when it comes to books that are just following detectives, I'm like, detectives don't do shit in real life, and I feel like these books kind of like romanticize their jobs a bit. But getting past all of that, I'm sure it will just be like an easy breezy read. I say that about a book about murder, which probably isn't the right words to use, but we're just gonna go past it. Next, I downloaded All the Little Raindrops, by Mia Sheridan. This is a story of like an abduction of two teenagers and their escape and the dark secrets that years later bring them back to the scene of the crime. Can you tell I was reading that off of the Goodreads synopsis? Again, this is another thriller. I really want to get into thrillers, but I'm not convinced I'm going to like them enough to really buy them. And the thing is that, like, whenever I read the synopsis of a thriller, I'm not that intrigued by it. Like, it sounds interesting enough, but there's never really been a thriller where I'm like, oh my god, I have to read that. It's just not that kind of genre for me. So I downloaded a bunch of thrillers on this app, and I'm just hoping to try them out and see if I like any of them. I don't read many thrillers, so I just think this would be like a fun little experiment. Next, I downloaded The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. This book follows a woman whose husband is accused of killing his mistress, and like the main character is a lawyer and she defends him in court, which I feel like is a conflict of interest. This one I've heard very bad things about. Actually, I watched a couple YouTube videos where people were reviewing this and none of them liked it, so I don't have high hopes, but I did download it just because it was a book that I recognized, and I hope it doesn't go into too much lawyer stuff because it's just gonna bug me. But I'm gonna give it a shot. It sounds interesting enough. Like, the premise is interesting. Then I downloaded The Butterfly The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. And I just have to read the Goodreads synopsis for this because it just is so wild. It says, in this garden grow luscious flowers, shady trees, and a collection of precious butterflies. Young women who have been kidnapped and intricately tattooed to resemble their namesakes. Okay. Overseeing it all is the gardener, a brutal, twisted man obsessed with capturing and preserving his lovely specimens. Okay. That sounds really weird and really creepy. So that's why I downloaded it, just because it sounded weird and creepy. I don't know. It actually has pretty decent ratings. On Goodreads, it's rated like a 4.09 stars. That's its average rating. So maybe they all love this one. Who knows? The next book I have is The Girl Who Was Taken by Charlie Donnelly. This book follows two girls who are like abducted and one comes back and the other doesn't, and that's all I know. I chose a lot of books where there are abducted women. I'm realizing this now. Like, this is at least the third book where that was a common theme. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my paranoia of being stolen. Like, I'm reading these books because I'm just scared of being kidnapped all the time. Fun story? Not fun story at all. I was actually almost kidnapped when I was little. So maybe I just have like a morbid obsession with this kind of stuff, but that's a story for another day. If you want me to tell that story, let me know and I will. Next book is Unmissing by Minka Kent. This is another story about a kidnapping. Now that I'm realizing it, it essentially follows this woman and her husband who are living like this nice, perfect marriage, because that's how all these books start. And then one day someone knocks on the door and it's her husband's first wife who was presumed dead and who was kidnapped. And she tells him the story of like her abduction and stuff. So yet another kidnapping book. Maybe it's not me though. Maybe these are just the kind of books that are for free on Amazon Prime. So like it's not my fault. I was just downloading all the thrillers I saw that interested me. So like there is still an element of me in there, but let's pretend there isn't. Okay, and now there are some like non-thrillers. I also downloaded some random fantasy books, which I feel like are gonna be bad, but maybe that's just a mean thing to say. The first is Court of Winter by Krista Street, and this is another abduction novel. Now that I'm reading the synopsis, so essentially this follows a girl who is like defective because she's magicless, and then one day the prince of whatever strolls into town and he abducts her. So a really kidnapping theme for this video. Then we have The Wrong Daughter by Dandy Smith, and I'm smiling because it's yet another abduction book. I swear to God I didn't plan this, and I swear to God I did not recognize this theme until I started talking about all of them. But essentially this book follows a family where like one night the eldest daughter was abducted by some man, and then decades later a woman comes to the door of the father like claiming to be his daughter that was abducted, and they don't know if it was really her. They don't know what happened to her. I don't know what's with me in all these abduction books. Then I have House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. This is another like fae romantasy book, which is just a funny theme to be free on Amazon. And it talks about another like magicless fairy girl who falls in love with a prince. I don't know. It was free. Don't come at me. And then, okay, another, I guess a common theme here is one kidnapping and two fae, because this one includes both. So essentially this is Our Fae Queen by Tracy Lovelott, and this is like books 1 to 3 in this series. It follows a girl whose magic suddenly like starts appearing and then she's kidnapped by the royal guard. So fae and kidnapping. We've got, you can't say that I don't have themes to this video. Ooh, okay, and this is what I'm actually very excited about, because this is the book I would have read if I didn't find it for free, and that is The Sword of Kagan by Emma Wang. I don't know anything about this book. I'm going to keep it that way. I've heard so much about this author. Like, this book went viral for, it was self-published, I think, too, and it went, like, totally viral. And then they also published Blood Over Bright Haven, and that book has gotten a lot of hype as well. And this book has a 4.47 rating on Goodreads. Like, that's insane. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I also know it's a standalone, which you don't really see a lot in fantasy books, and I'm just excited about this. I was excited to find this one for free. And the last book on this little tour of my ebooks is A Kiss Before Dying by Ira Levin. This book follows our main character Dorothy, who meets a handsome young man who has an eye for her inheritance, but then she gets pregnant, and if her dad found out, he would like disown her and she wouldn't get her inheritance. So her fiance starts giving her these pills that are supposed to like kill the baby, but they also might kill her, which is an interesting book. I'm only really interested in this one because I loved the other books I've read by Ira Levin, basically Stepford Wives and Rosemary's Baby. I thought those were amazing books. They've been some of my favorite that I've read this year. And so as soon as I saw his name, I was like, okay, I'll read it. And that's pretty much the only reason I downloaded it. The premise does not sound that good, but I'm hoping it's gonna be like creepy and a good time. So there you go. Those are all the books that I'm bringing with me on vacation, or at least the ebooks I'm bringing with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if I should read any of these books down below. Let me know if you want to hear my kidnapping story down below. I have no idea how I'd fit that into a video, but maybe I'll leave it in the comment if someone asks about it. I like how I'm just talking about my trauma and like laughing. Anyway, I'll see you soon with another video. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.